Hello everyone. So who did this video? I think it was Shannon from Cozy Tea Reads did this video. I can't remember now, but somebody did a video. Maybe it was Heather from Bookables. If I can remember to look for it and find it, I will link it below. But I think it was one of those two, and it was about Bookish Boyfriends, and so I made a list of 10 and I thought I would talk about them and hopefully not make this an obnoxiously long video, but no promises. The first one is Luke Brandon from the Confessions of a Shopaholic series by Sophie Kinsella. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before. If I could marry Luke Brandon, if I could find someone that's even half of what Luke Brandon is, that's the dream. Luke is amazing. He's supportive. He goes through a lot. That's one of the reasons I like about the series. Everything isn't perfect for them. Everything isn't amazing. And the way he works on his relationship with Becky, and that he's so supportive of her and is willing to put up with her craziness and balance her and everything is great. He's amazing. He's an amazing husband, an amazing father, an amazing man in general. I love Luke Brandon. He's like my favorite, and that's hard for me to say. Lisa Kleypas, I'm so sorry. It's hard for me to say, but it's Luke Brandon. It is always going to be Luke Brandon. Always. Okay, let's move on. Try and go faster. Okay, so next is Lisa Kleypas hero. Actually, the next two are, and that is Sebastian from The Devil in Winter. He's like totally the reformed rake husband. He's such a jerk. Earlier in the series, he kidnaps one of the heroine in this book's best friends, and I know that's horrible, but he goes through such a transformation, and he's such a good husband, and he's just amazing. He really is. His wife is very meek, and she's been through a lot of tough stuff, and he just supports her and loves her unconditionally, and he's great. Very great. Next, like I said, is another Lisa Kleypas hero, and that is Hardy Cates from Blue-Eyed Devil, which is a contemporary novel, and it's kind of the same thing. I've talked about this book before. It's about a woman coming out of an abusive relationship, and Hardy is great. He's supportive. He is the best, one of the best alpha males. So he's very strong and kind of intimidating. He can be aggressive, but he's perfect when it comes to dealing with Haven and her issues and her family, and he knows how to read a situation, and he knows how to treat a woman, and he's not overpowering with her. It's great. There's a scene in here I won't talk about because it is kind of a spoiler, but the way he handles Haven and her issues and her unwillingness to deal with them is amazing. Next is Adrian from Vampire Academy and Bloodlines. I love Adrian. I was never Team Adrian and Rose. I was Team Adrian and me, but I still loved Adrian throughout the Vampire Academy series, and I just love him even more in Bloodlines. He's funny. He's appropriately damaged, but he's working on himself, and he's really growing. I'm really enjoying seeing where his character is going and how it's progressing, and his willingness to be patient and wait for, spoiler alert, Sydney. I was spoiled, so who cares? He's funny. Very funny. Next is Damon Black from the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I don't think Damon is for everybody because he's a little douchey, but he is the best kind of douche. So he's super protective of his family, which I really love, and he's really protective of Katie, and he's supportive of her. Him working with her on her blog and stuff is just some of my favorite parts, and he's strong, and sometimes he can be a little too alpha, but I appreciate it, and I appreciate him. I think some people might think he's a little vulgar, but I just think it's a personality quirk, and I like it. Next is Kaiden Rowe from this Sweet Evil series by Wendy Higgins, and I feel like he's kind of like Damon Black. He's a little risque, but I really like it, and I love what he's willing to do for Anna, the main character of these books. And his backstory is pretty emotional, and you can see how he would end up the way he ends up, but that he's willing to work on himself and support her and put her first all the time. Plus, you guys, the epilogue of this book. If you didn't love him before, the epilogue, I feel like, would make you fall in love with him. Just letting you know. Next is Cam from Wait For You and Trust In Me, which is Wait For You from Cam's perspective. It's better because Cam is better. He's amazing. Like, oh my gosh, I want somebody, I don't even like eggs, and I want somebody to come over every Sunday and cook me eggs. If it was Cam. He's funny, again, he's protective of his family, his relationship with his sister is really good, he's supportive of Avery and what she's going through, and he's kind of that player guy, but not really. Like, I feel like he's sort of meant to come across that way, but he really just seems to me like a guy in college. I don't see him as over the top with the girls, but he's great with Avery, and he's just, I love reading about him, and I loved reading from his perspective, and I would be super happy if there was another book. Just saying. Just saying. Books flying around, oh no, is Lucas Maxfield from Easy and Breakable, which is Lucas's story. He seems like he'd be a bad boy, but he's not. He's smart, he's sensitive, he's strong. I mean, on the surface, like him protecting Jacqueline, yeah, that's something you get attracted to, but his humor and his willingness to be patient and all of those things is great. And then when you read his story, which you find out about in Easy, but when you really get to read it in Breakable, how can you not love him? How can you not want to, like, hug him and just make everything better for him? He's been through so much, and he's worked so hard in life. Okay, next is Dean Holder from Hopeless and Losing Hope. I feel like part of the reason I like him is his relationship with Sky and his relationship with Daniel, which you get to see in Losing Hope, but you get to see more of it too in Finding Cinderella, and they're great. And if a guy can have a best friend like that and have that kind of friendship relationship, I find that even more attractive. Like, somebody who can foster a relationship is great. Plus, he's funny, he's kind of misunderstood, but he knows who he is. Like, he knows people think things about him, but he knows he's not those things, and he's kind of come to grips with it. And again, the way he deals with Sky and works with her is great, and he, like, knows what she needs, and they form this great balance to each other. And last, and I kind of struggled with whether or not I should put this person on here, but I wouldn't have putting him on there, and that is Evan from the Breathing series by Rebecca Donovan. I said in my review of this series that I don't think that this series is for everybody. I don't think the romance is for everybody, and I don't think Evan is for everybody, but I really like him. That being said, in reality, would I want to be in a relationship with Evan? Maybe not. The characters are a little codependent, but I'm okay with it in the context of the story. But if somebody was like that in a relationship with me, maybe it would make me uncomfortable eventually. But I'm gonna go with that. I really like Evan. I think overall, he's super supportive. Emma and what she goes through, and he tries to be the best friend and boyfriend he can be for her, and he does stand up for himself at times, and he's accepting, and just, I do like him. I like him a lot. Okay, so those are my bookish boyfriends. If you have any thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comments, or if you have any that you particularly like. If you don't like any of mine, feel free to let me know. And thank you for watching. Bye!